Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to learn algebra. Today is our lesson number 132. Day 132, we are in the process of learning how to solve word problem from day 101 through 200, and today is our 32nd day of the word problems. Let's see what we have for today. How many minutes does it take to walk A miles at M miles per hour? How many minutes does it take to walk A miles at M miles per hour? This question is not going to change. Nothing is going to happen with this question if you were to change the unit from miles to kilometers. If you're going to use metric system, the problem will not be affected. I'm looking for another marker, that's why my eyes are going all over. And I have a whole bunch of black markers in one place, only if I can find it, which I cannot. Just give me 1 second. That marker is getting too light. I need to find something. Alright. So, what do? What I want you to do is pause the video at this point, solve the problem yourself, and then resume it and compare the work, okay? So, do the pausing and unpausing. I'm going to leave it up to you. Here's the solution. So, we are going M miles per hour, we are told. That's the speed of the person. The person is walking at the speed of M miles per hour. We do not know what M is, how much M is, this value of this variable, obviously, because it is not an arithmetic problem, as I always remind you. It's an algebra problem. And the difference between algebra and arithmetic is that algebra is arithmetic in abstract concepts. In algebra, in the world of algebra, I do not walk at 3 miles an hour, I walk M miles an hour. Do you understand? And the question simply is, how many minutes is it going to take me to walk A mile? So here's the solution. M miles in 1 hour. Where did that come from? Well, we're told that M miles per hour, that's the speed. If that's true, then we should be able to walk 1 mile in 1 over M hour. Let's pause here for a second. Let's make sure that we understand that concept before we go any further. So I'm going to give you some examples to make you understand. Okay, watch for example. For example, if I tell you that I walk 2 miles in 1 hour, 2 miles 1 hour. If 2 miles 1 hour, if M happens to be 2, then 1 mile should take half an hour, 1 over 2, you see? On the other hand, if I tell you that I walk 3 miles an hour, if I'm going 3 miles an hour, then 1 hour should take me a third of an hour, 1 over 3, you see? 3, 3, 3. 3 miles per hour, 1 mile in 1/3 of an hour. If I tell you that I go 10 miles an hour, if M happens to be 10, if I'm going 10 miles an hour, then to walk 1 mile, it should take me 1/10 of an hour. 1 over 10, you see, 10 and 10. That's where it's coming from. So since we're going M miles an hour, 1 mile should take 1 over M. That's all. But we do not want to go 1 mile, we want to go A miles. So A miles will take us A times that quantity, whatever this quantity is, times A hour. That's it. The question is, how long is it going to take us to travel A miles? The answer is 1 over M times A hour. Are we done? No, not yet. We have to do one tiny step still. One last step left. But before I go to the last step, well, actually take care of it right now. Before we go to the last step, Well, actually, let's take care of it right now. Actually, there is one last step left, which is that the question says how many minutes does it take to go a miles. What we have found is that a mile takes us this many hours. We just have to convert that hour into minutes. This quantity that you see there, which is 1 over m times a. 1 over m times a is same as a over m. A over m hours. That's how it stands right now. But we cannot give our answer. We cannot state our answer in hours. The question asks us for minutes. How many minutes does it take? So we have to simply multiply that by 60 times 60, and now it is expressed in minutes. A over m times 60, which of course we have to write it as 60 a over m. There we go. That's our final answer. This is how the answer choices will appear in the exam if we were sitting there right now taking any of this exam, the GRE, the GMAT or the SAT. This is how the problem will appear. Because the convention in algebra, convention in mathematics is that you always state the constant first. 60 is the constant, the known quantity first, and then the variable. Let's verify this answer. I want to make sure that we did the right work. Let's verify, shall we? The beauty of the algebra is that when you finish doing the problem, you can always go back and verify it by putting in real numbers, and by putting in real numbers, and thereby converting the algebra problem, the algebraic problem, into an arithmetic problem, and see if your answer makes any sense. Let's do it. Let's do it, shall we? So we're just going to plug in values. And see what comes out. Okay. Let's plug in. What should we plug in? Let's plug in something very simple. How many minutes does it take to walk a miles? Let's plug in for a. Let's plug in mile and a half. Where does mile and a half come from? Well, it just fell from the sky. I just made it up. The question now reads: how many minutes does it take to walk a miles, which we are replacing with 1.5 miles, if I was going at the speed of 3 miles per hour? Well, if I were going 3 miles per hour, to go mile and a half should take me half an hour. It's very simple now. You see, it will not have to do anything. The answer is very obvious. That is the difference between algebra and arithmetic. Arithmetic, since they are real numbers, the numbers that we can feel, the numbers that we are used to dealing with in our daily lives, it's very easy for us to think. Just like that. If you come to me and say, how long is it going to take you to go a mile and a half if you're going 3 miles an hour or half an hour? It only takes a split second to give an answer. But if you come to me and tell me how many minutes is it going to take to go a miles if you're going at m miles an hour, my gut instinct would be, what the hell? How do I know? We're going to have to do the work. This is the answer. So if you were to replace a by 1.5 here and m by 3 here in this expression, it should give us 30 minutes because this is expressed in minutes. Because we already know the answer is 30 minutes. It takes 30 minutes, it takes half an hour to go mile and a half at 3 miles an hour. Let's see if this gives us 30 minutes. 60 times a, which is 1.5. 1.5, I'm going to write that as 3 over 2. That's what 1.5 is. 1.5. I don't need to do this part that I'm doing right now. I'm just instead of writing 1.5, I wrote it 3 over 2 over m, which is 3. Watch what happens. This 3 is immediately going to cancel out with this 60, making it 20. And what is 1.5? What is 1.5 of 20? 1.5 of 20 is 30, because 1.5 of 20 is same as 1 plus a half times 20. This part I know is absolutely unnecessary. I'm being ridiculous right now. You don't need all of this work. I'm just 1 times 20 is 20 and half of 20 is 10. So 1.5 times 20 is 30, which is exactly what we found here before when we did the work. Oh, right up here. We had already concluded that it should take us 30 minutes to walk 1.5 miles if we were walking at 3 miles an hour. And this expression does in fact give us 30 minutes. I'm going to do it one more time so you can see it here. Forget about all this thing. This expression actually does give us does give us 30 minutes. It is 60 times 1.5 over m. 1.5 comes from here, 1.5 over m, which is 3. And 3 goes into 60 20 times, and 20 times 1.5 is 30, because 20 times 1 is 20, and half of 20 is 10. So 20 plus 10 is 30. It does give us the right answer. It is the right answer. This expression, we have just verified that this expression does the job. It is the correct answer. 60a over m. That's it. We are done for today. I will see you tomorrow on day number 133. Alright? Thanks.